ignore stuff that's unusual. Tell someone favor manifests itself in unusual circumstances. And when you see it, you need to recognize that God is doing something. Identify, oh, favor is on the scene. Oh, God's finna do something. I knew it's been going rough the last few months, but I feel God's finna do something because something unusual is happening in my midst. Can I give you another note? When Abram saw the man, he didn't just sit in the tent and say, oh, cool, there's favor, great. He didn't walk over to him and casually shake their hands. It says he ran, he fell on the ground, and he worshiped. I want you to know that you have to worship the source of favor and not favor itself. Right. Some of you all have made an idol out of favor. Come on now. Never worship favor and what it does for you. You worship God who gives you favor. He bowed down and began to worship God. See, you know why some of you all cannot create a condition for favor? Because you don't worship. You don't worship.
Help us, Lord.
You don't worship. What I mean by worship, I ain't talking about coming to church. I mean, in your heart, there's a posture. See, worship is about posture. You know, my posture is straight. I'm standing up erect as if I'm at attention. Right? That's my posture versus a slumped down posture. See, when you have an erect posture, what you're saying is I'm interested, I'm engaged, I'm present. I'm ready for interaction. When you have a slumped down side over posture, it sends a message that you're not engaged. Ready, you're not interested. Even with our faces, do you know that 93% of communication is nonverbal communication? It's not what you're saying out your mouth. It's your facial expression. It's your body posture. It's your distance. It's your hand movements. All of that is communicated. And what God is saying is some of you all say with your mouth, I love you, Jesus, but your body language says you don't.
Good, Bishop. Teach.
Your mouth says, I believe God, but your behavior does not line up with your mouth. And God says, if you can get to the place in your heart where your posture lines up with what you say you believe, then you'll see things turn. You have to have a posture that when God is in my midst, I stop everything I'm doing. When God comes in the room, I don't treat God's presence like it's common. I treat God's presence like it's holy. I don't treat God's presence like, oh, this is just another Sunday that God moved. No, this is not just another Sunday that God moved. God don't have to move in our midst. God doesn't have to touch his people. God doesn't have to give a word to his people. It is an honor and it is a privilege for God to come by here. And when the people of God gets back to a place where they act like it is an honor and not a obligation. Where has the church gone wrong? Where we believe that we're doing God a favor by coming to worship him. I say, I don't think I'm doing God a favor when I come to worship. Then why do you come and sit and look then? I mean, real talk. I'm Bishop. I can talk real. Why then, if you say I appreciate God and I love God for everything he's done and he's the leader of my life, then when we come together for corporate worship, the behavior doesn't suggest that you appreciate God. Now, it's not about the method. It's about the posture of your heart. Right? Some people are going to jump and run and shout. I'm one of those. You have some people that lift their hands and just wave their hands to the Lord. You have some people that open their mouth. Some people that cry tears, that run down their face. The thing is this. Do something. It first has to start in here, though. It has to start in here. If it's just out here, it doesn't mean anything. It has to start in here. If it starts in here, that some sign will come on the outside. So when people say, well, I don't do all of that. Well, that's not really biblical. But when you study Bible praise, biblical praise that David instituted was a demonstrative praise. The worship in the tabernacle of David was not quiet in any form or fashion. Nowhere. And everybody did something. Right. No one got a pass. Well, I'm not emotional. Yes, you are. Mm-hmm. I'm not expressive. Yes, you are. You might not be expressive at church. Mm-hmm. Oh, let somebody cut you off. You'll cuss them out. Ain't that emotions? Okay. Let somebody play with your money. Play with your man. Play with your...
Oh, bring it up, Bishop. Help us.
Let somebody...
Bring it up.
I wish a nigga would.
Thank you. Help us. Help us. Free us.
You will get emotional there. Let the Falcons keep winning. And I pray they win this year. Let the Falcons keep winning. You mean to tell me you ain't going to turn up? You ain't going to rise up with the Falcons? You get emotional there. But you mean to tell me that you're going to sit up here and tell me you can come to church? Well, I don't do all of that. I know it's not necessary. Like you're so proper and bougie. You ain't that proper, baby. Don't play. You understand what I'm saying? When you get in the place where you show God, first from your heart, that you appreciate him, then God begins to shift and move stuff. As the girls dance, he'll pull mountains down. He'll cause walls to fall. Things that's standing in your way, he will shift it in your favor. How many of you need God to shift some stuff in your favor? But I also noticed something else, and I'm really almost finished. There is a connection between getting favor and sight. Notice he says, if I have found favor in your sight. And if you begin to study favor in the scriptures, most of the references to favor is connected to sight. What is the connection between getting favor and sight? Sight here suggests presence. So what it's saying is you cannot get favor from God if you're not in his presence.
Yes, sir.
You have to create an environment where you're constantly in God's presence so that God can put his eyes on you. Because every time he looks at you, he falls in love with you all over again.
Yes, he does.
Have you ever had somebody in your life that every time you saw him, you just fell in love all over again? I don't care how long it's been since you saw him. Every time you see him, you just remember why you fell in love all over again. I know some of you can't relate because you hate the person you're with now, but that's okay. It might have been an old boo thing or something. I don't know, child. Think about it. But it's somebody. There's somebody. Every time you see him. It's one of my favorite jazz songs by Jeff Bradshaw called All Time Love. You ever have somebody that's been your all-time love? You might not be married to them. You might not be with them. But they're your all-time love. They set the standard for what love is. Oh, come on. Talk to me. We talking about love. Come on. It's okay to talk about love. We grown folk. Amen. What happens is every time you get in the presence of the Lord and he sees you, he falls in love with you all over again.
Thank you, Lord.
And he begins to just give you stuff. Oh, I just love you so. Girl, Linda, girl, I love you so much. What you need, girl? What's bothering you? Let me fight it. Let me fix it. And that's what God is saying. When you get in his presence and you begin to pour your love out on him, it just rekindles his love and his affection for you. And he just begins to give. See, because God is, his love language is giving. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
When he loves you, he gives you stuff. And I don't know about you. I need God to give me some stuff. Now, let me tell you something. I ain't loving him for his hands. I'm loving him for his face. But the byproduct is that he releases stuff from his hand into my life. I want to challenge God's people. Get back in the presence of God. Get back to singing to God. Get back to worshiping him. Because when you worship him, he's going to fall in love with you again. And he's going to begin to release stuff that you don't deserve. Oh, I know I'm talking good. I know I'm talking better than y'all talking. All right, I'm going to give you stuff that you need, but you don't qualify for it. So I step into nature and I break natural law to give you what you need.
Glory to God.
But you don't deserve it.
Thank you, Lord.
But here's the thing. This is why I'm talking about this today. About our kind of apathetic behavior in church. Most church people are apathetic. What I mean by that? It's church. Yeah, the Lord is here. This is why you can't have that posture. Favor will pass by you if you don't put a demand on it. Favor will pass your behind by if you don't put the man on it to abide. Notice, the men were going by. Abram stopped them. And he says in the end of verse 3, my Lord, if I have now found favor in your sight, do not pass on by your servant. Which meant that if he had not said it, what would they have done? Kept right on walking. How many of you have let favor walk right by you?
Come on now.
You know why? Because you assume that favor is supposed to stop by you. Favor does not have to stop in your life. Does not have to manifest in your life. You have to put a demand on the favor of God to stay. So that's why whenever the presence of God comes where I'm, it's not just at church, and anyone that knows me knows I don't act like this just at church. I praise God everywhere. Anytime I feel the presence of God, that's why I start praising him, because Lord, I need to put a demand on this faith. I feel you in the room, and I'm facing a situation on my job, and I'm facing a situation with my bills, and I got a little situation in my house, God, and now I feel you, that you're in the room because he inhabits the praises of his people, and you are sitting down to begin to do kingdom business. I need to put a demand. God, I need you to break some rules. I need you to give me some stuff I don't deserve. God, I need you to do something while I'm not going to feel the presence of God and let that thing pass by, because I may never get this chance again. You can leave here and leave here. Oh, y'all didn't get that? There's no guarantee you'll get another moment in God's presence. This may have been your moment. So every opportunity I get, I'm going to put a demand on the favor of God to not just give me something, but abide. Because notice, Abram didn't ask them for anything. Abram offered to serve.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
He said, let me bring you some water. Jesus, whew, this is so good. Verse 4, let me bring you some water. Let me bring you some food. If you want favor to stay, then you got to do something for that favor. The reason why some of y'all get little twinklings of favor, because you don't want to do nothing for it. Because you think it belongs to you. It's owed to you. It is not owed to you. Everybody don't have it. Look at you. Look at other people that say, are they moving like you moving? Are they blessed like you blessed? That's right, mama. I don't think so either, sweetie. They're not. Everybody, have you ever looked and said, why is this Christian struggling and this Christian that seems to be moving ahead, and they basically have the same experience? Perhaps it's because they understand how to put a demand on favor and how to serve it to make it stay. See, because favor will show up, but favor won't release its gifts until you serve it. Wow. Favor will show up if you put a demand on it, but it will not release to you its gifts until you serve it. The messengers did not give Abram a message until he served. And when you serve something, what are you saying? I value you. I honor you. I appreciate you. And so through my actions, I begin to show my value. If you want favor to stay in your life, you need to act like you value God's favor. You value it by what? Not abusing it. How you abuse it? God give you a little car, now you can't speak to nobody. Now you can't give nobody a ride to church. Before you got the car, you was bumming rides with everybody, riding on motor. Now you got a car, nose up in the air. Can't nobody eat in your car. You got to take your shoes off in the car. Child by. What's wrong with you? That's how you abuse favor. God opens the door for you, and you don't reach your hand back to help somebody else come up. People calling you, oh, I heard they got some openness on your job, child. I don't want you working with me because I know you. You're not on our level. Child, you wasn't on the level if it wasn't for the favor of God putting you up there. How quickly we forget.
Yes, sir.
And act brand new. Beware of folks that act brand new. Tell me I'm lying. People struggling with you today, and they get a little something, and they act like they've been living on high on the hog all day. Like, baby, you just got up there. If you ain't careful, God will take you down.
Yes, he do. Easy coming.
Service demonstrates value and appreciation.
Yes.
And my question is, you want favor, but are you willing to work for it?
Come on now.
Are you willing to demonstrate the value? that's attached to God's favor being in your life. And when that favor lands, it releases at least 3 things. But guess what? You got to come back next week for me to tell you that. Everyone stand on your feet.
Glory to God. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Lord. Jesus.
What's the point of having favor show up and you don't get his benefits? There are benefits that come with God's favor. My prayer for you, beloved, is that you would place more value on God's presence. Get in his presence. You don't have to be a great singer to worship. Let's get in his presence and let's hum and sing and just be there. Commune with him. Let him know how much you appreciate it. When we come together, I tell y'all, if we as a whole church, when we come together, we really begin to just honor God in our hearts and honor God with our bodies by worshiping him and opening up our mouths. And look, I'm telling y'all, if we all come together and start to do that, God would do some amazing things. Some of you all would get answers to questions before you even leave church. God will start healing people, and I don't have to touch nobody. He'll touch you himself. Some of y'all are walking here with a lump on your body and walk out of here, lump be gone. Yeah. I'm telling you, hunger and value draws his presence, his supernatural presence. Saints, let's get back to the place where we love him, we honor him, we value him in our hearts. And when it gets in your heart, it just moves up your hand and it just gets in your mouth, and sometimes it gets in your feet, and you just begin to just let God know how much you adore him. Let's take a few minutes now in your own way and just tell God how much you love him, how much you adore him in your own way. God, we just love you. We appreciate you, God. We value you. Now let me say this one thing about that. Every